Hello everyone and welcome to the second training video on Wargame European Escalation. So as a few people suggested, I'm gonna do a video focused on the infantry in Wargame. So first let's go in the armory and let's see all the infantry units. First I want to say I'm not going to speak about the transports. Quickly to say a word about it before I go on infantry transports, it's either helicopter or ground transports. There are too many to speak of them during this video, but basically all helicopters are unarmed in NATO on the NATO side, are armed on the Pact side, and ground transports depends on what you want to do with the infantry. If you want expensive transport but fast, well armed and a good operational range, or a cheap transport but that has bad stats, it's all up to you. I'll maybe do a video on transports later, but today I'm focusing on infantry. So, putting transports aside, infantry, there are three big categories of infantry units: recon, rifle squads, and specialized troops. Recon and rifle squads have both 10 HPs, while specialized troops have 5 HPs. Of course, there are exceptions, but it's 95% the case, like that. Recon rifle squad 10 HPs, specialized 5 SPs. Specialized infantry squads are the flamethrowers, ATGM and anti-air units. I'll start with them. So first, the flamethrower units. Flamethrower units, I don't know them much for a simple reason, is that because I don't use them. Why don't I use them? Well, for multiple reasons. First it's because, well, as any unit, it takes one slot in your deck, and it has only an availability of 8. So in the infantry category, infantry is pretty important. To use one slot for 8 units is, well, not really a good idea, in my opinion. If they were very efficient, why not? But it isn't even the case. So let's see about the effectiveness. Infantry units have always 3 kind of weapons: one rifle, grenades, which can be anti-tank or anti-infantry, and a third weapon that can be other grenades, an RPG to destroy tanks, flamethrower, ATGM, or SAM. So it's a weapon that allows to specialize, give a second role to the unit, either anti-tank, anti-helicopter, or boost its anti-infantry. In this case, it boosts its anti-infantry. So you've got a unit that takes one slot, only 8 available units, and that is specialized only in anti-infantry, so not really a multi-purpose unit. Let's look at its anti-infantry effectiveness. Well, it's not really good, is it? It's 2 HE with rifle and flamethrower combined, and its flamethrower has only 525 meters of range. Of course, in forests it isn't that important, because units have to go close to each other to even see themselves just before they shoot at themselves. So 525 meters isn't a real problem, but it's still, well, pretty bad. So that's the sapper, the French sapper. It's the same thing for the Russian flamethrower unit. The Polish one is a bit better, but not thanks to its flamethrower, but thanks to its assault rifle with its HE of 2. But it's still 30 points. So the only advantage of these flamethrower units is the morale impact of the flamethrower. It destroys the enemy morale quite quickly, but that makes it more a support unit than a frontal assault unit. It's more to support your infantry, to kill the enemy morale while your other infantry squads destroy them. The problem here is that, for me at least, and for a big part of the players, because I see absolutely no one play the flamethrower units, I've seen them once or twice in the entire games in all the games I've played. This little advantage, which is killing, well, lowering the enemy morale drastically, the small advantage, in my opinion, doesn't compensate with its flaws. It isn't a multi-purpose unit. It has only an availability of 8, and it's still quite expensive considering what it does. So flamethrower units, well, I personally wouldn't recommend them, but maybe other players would. Second type of unit, ATGMs. So these units are, well, pretty much the same on NATO and Pact side. On NATO, you've got 3 basic ATGMs. You've got the Dragon, which is the basic ATGM. It's like the most cheapest one. So this ATGM Dragon with M113 is best used fully vetted, so 30 points. It will be, well, it's like for those who like to spam units. Of course, it will cost a lot in ammunition, so in supplies, but it's a spammy unit. You've got the Dragon 2, of course, which is a bit better, but not really that much. Then you've got the Milan F1, 512, one of the best, well, the best in my opinion, the one I use all the time, sorry, the Milan F2, 615. I use it like vet 2 or 3. I'm more of a player who uses few infantry ATGMs, but very good ATGMs, rather than spam them. But that's just a personal choice. So basically, if you want to choose your ATGM infantry, just look at this line. Don't really bother with the assault or the grenade. Yeah, of course, it will help them defend themselves against charging infantry, but in most cases, if you are attacked by rifle squads, you'll get destroyed. So, well, I think that an ATGM infantry has to be good at ATGM purposes. So, just choose your infantry regarding these stats and regarding the transport, depending on what you want them to do. Like cheap and slow transport if you want them just to go to defend your spawn area, or a better transport like the VAB if you want them to go further away to harass the enemy. So ATGM units, and on the Pact side, of course, you've got the 2 most well used ATGMs, the Fagot and the Concourse. Where the hell are they? I think I missed them. Oh, here they are. So the Fagot 611, Concourse 712. They are a bit well, the range is a bit better than the NATO side, 2600 versus, I want to check, 2400 there. So they've got a range advantage, but they've got less powerful ATGMs. So all in all, they are quite similar. Well, I wouldn't say Pact is better or NATO is better, it's quite equivalent. Just choose your ATGM units according to your playstyle, more spammy or more elite units. So that's it. Let's speak about the specialized anti-air units now. Anti-air is a bit different than ATGM. There's a huge gap between the NATO and Pact units. Let's have a look. So NATO, let's just compare the 2 best SAM missiles. On the NATO side, you've got the Stingers, which is an 804 at 2400. 804, 2400. On the Pact side, it's the Igla. 905, 2400. Yeah, of course, it's nearly the same thing. It's only +1 in accuracy and 80 power for the same price. But when you consider a unit stat, you need to consider what its role is and what is the unit it's supposed to kill. Of course, here, anti-air, its role is to kill helicopters, so you've got to compare it to the helicopters facing you. When you play NATO, so when you have the Stinger, you have in front of you Pact units. I'd say 99% of the games are played in confrontation mode, so it's NATO versus Pact. So of course, when you have a Stinger, you have Pact helicopters facing you. Pact helicopters, well, most of them have 10 HPs. So with this Stinger, it means you'll need 3 missiles to hit, 3 hits with your OSM to kill a helicopter. And 3 hits, it's like 5 or 6 missiles shot. So if you're really lucky, you'll kill 2 helicopters with this guy. If you're just a normal guy, if you're not lucky, but not necessarily unlucky, you'll kill only 1 chopper with 6 missiles. So it's really a bad idea. And 3 missiles also means first missile goes and misses, second missile hits, the enemy is aware you're shooting at him, and he'll have all the time in the world to pull back his helicopter, so most of the time you won't even kill a single helicopter. The only thing useful I can see with this unit is it's a good area denial unit. It'll just have a psychological impact on the enemy. He'll just flee with his helicopters when he'll see SAMs, but that's all the advantage I can see of it. Now, about the Igla, it's just a little better, but just enough to make it great. The NATO helicopters. apart from a few exceptions like the Chinook or the Apache, all NATO helicopters have 5 HPs. So one hit from this Igla is 1 kill. So you see only +1 HE, it makes all the difference. The Igla, 1 hit, 1 kill. The Stinger, 3 hits, 1 kill. It's ridiculous. So the Igla is a really good thing. You just take it as it is. Maybe if you want to make sure you vet it a little, and you have potentially 6 kills with it. Maybe 3 or 4 if you're realistic, but it's really nice for its price. Now the other anti-air units, you've got the Strela in the... I think I missed them again. Here it just, yeah. You've got the Strela 2, 403, you'll need 2 missiles to hit 5 HP, and 4 to kill at 10 HP, while the Strela 3 is a bit better. Well, most of the time it's just the same thing, it will need 2 hits to kill a chopper, but against the Apache or the Chinook, for example, only 3 hits are necessary. But only for 5 points more, you've got the Igla, which is more precise, better HE. Just 1 + 1 makes all the difference. It's the difference between 1 hit to kill and 2 hits to kill. On the NATO side, well, I showed you the best one, and it's already crap, so don't even bother looking at the other ones. The Red Eye, 3 HE, that means you need to hit 4 times to kill a 10 HP chopper. Of course, I don't take into consideration the critical hits, but yeah, I'm not fond of these guys. So yeah, if you're playing Pact, don't hesitate to take the Igla. If you're playing NATO, well, if you really want them, you can try the Stingers, but I wouldn't use them. I wouldn't bother with the anti-air units. Infantry anti-air, that's it. That is. So we've seen flamethrowers, ATGM, and AA. We've got recon, but recon is the same thing as rifle squads, apart from the fact that they can detect enemy units easier. The other thing with anti-air, ATGM, and recon is that they aren't indispensable. They can be replaced by other units. I mean, anti-air can be replaced by units in the support area, ATGM can be replaced by vehicles, even tanks if you're playing Pact, or even some NATO tanks, yes. Recon can be replaced by recon, even helicopter recons. And the only unit that can't be replaced in the infantry area is the rifle squad. Why? Because the role it has in the battlefield is unique. No other unit can have it. Its role: defend a city, defend forests, and of course assault cities and assault forests. No other unit does it better than the rifle squad. Why? Well, because if it's not a rifle squad and another infantry, well, the rifle squad is better. That's it. And if it's something else, then it's a vehicle or a helicopter, and it will get killed by the rifle squads in the forests. So, all in all, they are pretty unique. So that's why they are a must-have in your deck. That is why I'll show you how to choose your rifle squad. I won't show you which ones I think are the best, because it's a biased point of view, of course. So I'll just show you how to choose them regarding their stats, of course, not regarding their transports. So I've got a little replay here to show you. So this replay, it's basically a test. It's NATO versus NATO, so Pact isn't here. I'm sorry for all the Pact fans, but my point isn't to show you which unit is the best, Pact or NATO or Chasseur or Jaegers or Spadocronarze, so on and so on forth. My point here is to show you which are the most important stats you need to look at while choosing infantry units. So, first battle. So the fans battles are here just to see what's happening. First battle is Chasseur against Chasseur FAMAS. Let's just see the stats here. We've got 501 21 shots per minute against 801 856 7 shots per minute. Basically, Chasseur FAMAS has better stats than the Chasseur. He should kill them really easily, and that's what he is doing. I'm just gonna speed up things. The Chasseur are getting totally killed. Chasseur FAMAS won the match with only 1 HP lost, and they are still calm, so no real doubt here. The Chasseur FAMAS is better. The stats were better, the Chasseur FAMAS is better. Okay, so now let's see the Chasseur FAMAS against a similar unit, Chasseur FAMAS versus Jaegers. Let's look at the stats. 801 for the Chasseur FAMAS, 801 for the Jaeger. 701 range, same for here, for the chasseur. 857 shots per minute for the rate of fire. Jaegers have a less 514. 514, 857, so the Chasseur FAMAS should have the advantage in this fight. Fight starts, the HPs are similar on both sides, 9 HPs, 8 HPs. But when you look at the morale, worried the Jaegers, shaken the Chasseur. So the HPs are similar, 7 to 7, but the morale is in a better shape on the Jaegers side. Chasseur FAMAS seem to have a morale going down faster. Even if the Jaegers now are going down fast, and they are even panicked now while the Jaegers are just shaken. So in the fight, Jaeger versus Chasseur FAMAS, Chasseur FAMAS will start panicking faster and will rout before the Jaegers are even panicked. So why is that? Well, let's just look at the stats. The only different stat here that advantages the Jaegers is the caliber. 7.62mm for the Jaegers, 5.56 for the Chasseur FAMAS. So basically, the caliber is really important. The bigger the caliber, the faster you will deal morale damage to the enemy unit. And the faster his morale will go down, the faster he'll lose effectiveness. So here we've got identical units, but the Chasseur FAMAS morale went down faster, so they'll panic, be less efficient, they'll rout, and of course the Jaegers will win. And look at the end of the match. For units that have the same cost and the same stats apart from caliber, the Jaegers win and still have 50% of their effective alive. So caliber is a really important stat. Last match, just to see what is the real impact of the caliber. Fernspacher versus Legion. Fernspacher 1003, Legion 602. Legionnaires have a better rate of fire, 514, 642, and a better caliber, 9 versus 762. But they've got less HE. Of course, they've got less accuracy also, but accuracy is a bit less important here. Sorry. So let's see how it turns out. 3 HE kills 3 HP, of course. Goes down 3 by 3, here goes down 2 by 2. The Legionnaires are totally killed really quickly. So here we saw that the caliber didn't, they are only worried, the Fernspacher are only worried, so the caliber of the Legionnaire's weapon didn't have a huge impact on the battle. HE power is really the king on the battlefield, while considering infantry versus infantry combat. So, to sum it up quickly, when you choose your rifle squads, the stats you want to focus on are first the HE, goes from 1 to 3, 3 is the best of course. The higher the HE, the most effective the unit is. So first the HE, then the caliber, the higher it is, the faster you'll stun the enemy and panic him. And then the other stats, more or less together, rate of fire, accuracy, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter. So that's basically the things you want to check when you choose rifle squads. HE, caliber, and then the rest. So now the last thing I wanted to show you is how do you deploy and use your infantry squads on the battlefield. Here we go for a replay showing that. So here we go, here we are in a game, doesn't matter who is playing. I'm going to show you a bit how to deploy your infantry squads in game. So there are 3 major areas where you want to deploy your infantry units. First, forests, of course. Second, cities. And third, things that players forget, buildings right in the middle of the field. Small group of the buildings here, or individual buildings like this one here. So let's start with the forests. Deploy infantry in forest is pretty easy. Just deploy them, unload them, which isn't the case here right now, and protect anything you need protected in the forest. The units you need to deploy in the forests are rifle squads, of course. They'll stop enemy infantry and stop with their RPGs enemy tanks coming too close. Other units can be deployed, of course, recon and ATGM units, but those are best used on the edge of the forest to be able to shoot outside, to see or to shoot outside, depending if it's a recon or an ATGM. Rifle squads can be positioned in forests to defend units, or in other forests a bit everywhere to detect enemy units and just harass the enemy who is moving around on the map. Second area to deploy units is the small buildings. So here we've got a rifle squad, not the best of ideas in my opinion. In these kinds of building, the units you want to deploy are first recons to see what's happening a bit around the building. So if here I'm playing NATO, I would put a recon just in this building here to see what's happening in front of my front line. Second unit I would deploy is either an ATGM or an AA squad or both to create some sort of area of denial. So if you put an ATGM, you could deny any vehicle to come close. Of course you wouldn't deny all of them, but you would psychologically tell the enemy, well, if you come here, you're gonna get killed by my ATGM. Same with the SAM against helicopters. So it's quite good. If you manage to control more than one building, you may create hotspots with crossfires, like an ATGM here and one here. Tanks coming down the road would be killed both in front and from the side, so it's really nice. Of course, do not spam every single building on the map. It'll cost too much points, but locate the most important ones and, well, then you can have fun with them. Third place to deploy infantry units is the city. Here is a very good example of a good deployment. So there are basically two ways of deploying units. Well, not really, I'll just come back to that. In a city like this, you can deploy the three types of units. Recon, specialized, so ATGM or anti-air, and assaults, rifle squads. Recons and ATGMs are of course best deployed at the edge of the city. Recon to see what's happening outside, and ATGM to shoot at what's happening outside. If you put them in the city, they are totally useless. So this deployment is pretty good. ATGM over here, Recon over here, ATGM over here, pretty good. Then you've got the rifle squads. So these guys, you've got two ways of deploying them. Either at the edge of the forest, there was one here and one here, one coming in here, at the edge of the, not the forest, sorry, at the edge of the city, to protect your specialized squads, if you have some, or to stop enemies from coming in the city. Like if you put them on the edge, they'll shoot transport, they'll shoot light vehicles. It's pretty nice. So that's stopping enemies from going in the city. If you want them to be used more as an ambush unit, you'll put them more in the city to be really invisible, so that outside units won't see them and won't shoot at them, and put them on next to the road. If you put them in buildings like this one, it will be totally useless because it won't see anything. So the best choice, for example, if you've got 4 infantry units, just put the 4 in, for example, these 4 buildings, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at the crossroad, so it's the area where you've got most chance to see enemy units. And of course, they will be grouped together, so more resistance to infantry coming in. If you separate them like here at 4 places in the city, well, the one enemy infantry coming in from here would just pick them up one by one and kill everything easily. If you regroup them, not as a squad, but just one near each other, they will be much more difficult to kill. If you don't want to regroup them because artillery is shelling or anything else, just remember the major point is put them near the road to ambush if tanks or vehicles passing by. If you're not near the road, you won't do anything. So that's it for taking position in a forest or a city. Now let's see how to take them out. There isn't the example in this replay, but I'll still explain it to you. There are basically 3 ways of emptying a forest or a city. First is, well, it depends on what you see in the city. Just move in a recon. If you see an ATGM coming out, well, of course there are ATGM infantry guys in the city. It's going to be hard to approach the city. In that case, just send in artillery. The second method is, if there isn't any ATGM units, well, just send in flamethrower units. Zippo on the NATO side, TO-55 on the Pact side. or the German version if you want. Send them near the city or the forest at max range, do an area attack, force attack on an area, and they'll just start burning the place. Once you've done that, send in your own infantry and take the enemy out. And the third way is sending a pure and simple but really brutal infantry rush in the city. Just send in 4, 8, 10 infantry squads, disembark them just at the edge of the city or the forest, and charge in and wipe everything out. Of course, the best is to use everything, is to combine these three methods, like burning or shelling the edge of the city. That way, well, before your infantry attacks, that way you'll either kill or stun the enemy units. Either way, it will make it much more easier for you to attack. If you do neither, it's because the enemy has pulled them back further in the city to protect them. If he has done so, you'll be able to come nearer, close to the city with your infantry squads, disembark without being shot at, and enter the buildings. And then be at an equal situation with your opponent. Both your units and his will be in buildings while shooting. So it's better for you. So a good combination is flamethrower then charge, or artillery and then charge. Of course, it all depends if there are ITGMs or not in the city. One fourth situation that most people don't think of is, well, just avoid the damn city. A lot of players just think, there are guys in here, I've got to kill them. But you've got to think about the big picture. If it's a destruction mode, you'll just lose more points than you're gonna do by attacking the city. So useless. If it's an economy mode like this one, well, what's the point in taking a city if it doesn't control any sector? Here, of course, it's useless to go and contest the city. Take another city. Well, there's no example. This one, for example. If this city is taken by the enemy and he's got his command vehicle inside of it, of course, you'll have to clean it. If not, he'll control Juliet for the entire match. But here, what's the point in attacking the city? You can't just go around it. So this is the situation that happened in this match. A bit of shelling over here, and the units that just go around the city. Of course, the ATGMs had 1 or 2 shots, but my tanks went away. Infantry units came in to just lure the ATGMs to them, and the tanks went around to attack the enemy command vehicle, which is the objective. And, well, try to take it out. And even if it doesn't take it out, you just avoid the city and go behind the enemy lines, try to harass him, and, well, in that case the enemy commander just got taken out by helicopters. But the point is, when you see an enemy city, if you think you can take it out easily, well, of course, do it. But if you know you can't, if you know it will cost you a lot of resources and lives to take the city, just think about the big picture and tell yourself, is it really necessary to attack the city? I'm talking about a city, but it could be the same for a forest. Is it really necessary to attack it and wipe it out to win the game? In this case, clearly no. He's controlling the city, but nothing on the right side, so I just can go all the way around to attack his troops behind in Gulf. So yeah, of course, the only disadvantage with this situation, with this strategy, is even if your army is over there, you still have enemy units behind you. So you always have to be careful. If you go around a city or a forest where you know enemy units are stationed, you've got to put recon units, or at least some units around it, to make sure you besiege the city, and you make sure no unit from the city is coming out to harass your your lines. So basically that's it. Taking a city, it's recon and ATGM on the edge, rifle on the edge to defend, or in the city to ambush units, rifle squads in forests, recon and ATGM or SAM in buildings like these, very good, and to attack artillery, flamethrowers, infantry. Try a bit of a combination and it should work. And if it's untakeable, because of course infantry in cities take less damage from artillery, so it can take quite some time to take out a city like this. If you can't take it out, just, if it's possible, avoid it. If not, well, you've got a problem. But that's it. I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned some stuff. Please like the video if it was good. Don't hesitate to comment a bit if you've got some ideas for future training videos. I've got a few ideas of myself, but maybe you've got better ideas than I do, and I'm pretty sure you have. So thanks for watching. I hope you liked it, and see you next time.